Hey guys, here's your guys' homework on graphing quadratic functions from vertex form. So here's number one. So remember, for every type of function, you guys, when we're graphing from quadratic functions, to find the y-intercept, set x is equal to 0. So we are going to do that. So this is 0 now, right? Okay, so we're solving for this. So negative 1/3, 0 minus 2 is negative 2 squared plus 3. I'm going to make this smaller so that I can have more room. Equals, now we get negative 1/3, you guys. Negative 2 squared is 4 plus 3. This is going to be negative 4/3 plus 3. Now, that's 3. We're going to have to put it to 3 over 1 so that we can find a common denominator. Remember, when you combine a fraction and a whole number, you guys, you need to find a common denominator. So 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 1 is 3. So negative 4 plus 9 is 5, and it's the same denominator. So our y-intercept is 0, comma, 5 over 3. Okay. Now we gotta find our roots. So our roots is gonna be when y is equal to 0. So you guys might as well write 0 for both of those. Now, I guess I'll do it right here. So we're gonna have 0, because that's what y is equal to, is equal to negative 1/3 x minus 2 squared plus 3. So once we set 0 equal to f of x, we're gonna solve. So we're gonna subtract 3 to both sides. Okay. Now, we need to get rid of that fraction, which is negative 1/3. So I'm going to multiply both sides by negative 3 so that these cancel. So then we're going to get positive 9, because negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9, equals x minus 2 squared. Now we're going to square root both sides. We're going to get plus or minus 3 is equal to x minus 2. Make our two equations. 3 is equal to x minus 2, or negative 3 is equal to x minus 2. Add 2 to both sides, add 2 to both sides. So 5 is equal to x, or negative 1 is equal to x. So those are our roots, negative 1, comma 0, and 5, comma 0. Okay, our vertex. The lovely thing about having vertex form, you guys, is we can see our vertex, which is the opposite of this and this. So opposite of negative 2 is 2, and 3 is 3. Axis symmetry is just the x value of the vertex, so it's going to be x is equal to 2. Concavity, since a is less than 0, right? It's a negative. That means it concaves down. So it's a sad face, right? And if it's sad face, you guys, you know it's going to give you a maximum. Alright, let's graph. So we got negative 1, comma 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, comma 0. Our vertex is 2, comma 3. And our y-intercept, 5 over 3, you guys, is like 1 and 2/3. So 1 and 2/3 is like right around there. Sorry, 1 and 2/3 is like right around there. So your guys' graph is going to look like that to some degree. And then your guys' axis symmetry is at x is equal to 2. Okay, domain, how far left is this going? Negative infinity. How far right? Positive infinity. How low is this going? Negative infinity. To how high? All the way up to the vertex. So that's going to be 3 bracket. Okay, so there's number 1. Okay, number 2. Remember, x is equal to 0 for the y-intercept. So f of 0 is equal to negative 2 times 0 plus 4 squared plus 18. Negative 2, 4 squared plus 18. Negative 2 times 16 plus 18. Negative 2 times 6, negative 32 plus 18, which is negative 14. 0, comma, negative 14. Okay, so your roots are where y is equal to 0. So set 0 equals to all of that. Now let's solve for x. So suggestion, work from the outside going in. So we're going to subtract 18 from both sides. We're trying to isolate our x. Now we need to get rid of that negative 2, right? So you gotta divide both sides by negative 2. Lastly, we need to square root both sides so that we can isolate our x. We're going to get plus or minus 3, so we'll go to x plus 4. Okay, this is where you guys get 2 equations, right? 3 is equal to x plus 4, or negative 3 is equal to x plus 4. Subtract 4 to both sides. So we're going to get negative 1 equals x, or negative 7 equal to x. So remember, our y is equal to 0, because that's what we set y equal to. Your x values are going to be negative 7, comma 0, and negative 1. Okay, vertex. Remember, this is already in vertex form, and you know that because it's raised to a second power. So we're going to have this 4, so it's going to be negative 4, right? And this is positive 18, so this is going to be 18. These are the same. These are the ones that are different. Okay, axisymmetry is just the x value of the vertex, so that's just x equals negative 4. Okay, concavity. You know a is less than 0, right? Negative 2 is less than 0, so that means it concaves down, which means a sad face, and a sad face gives you a maximum, because, right, you see the highest point on the top. Okay, so we're going to graph. Negative 1, comma 0, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, comma 0, negative 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, comma 18. I'm just going to put these by intervals of 5, you guys. So negative 4, comma 18, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Right around there. Y-intercept was 0, comma negative 14, which is right around there. Looks pretty good. And then graph the axis symmetry, which is x equal negative 4. There you guys go. Domain, how far left? Negative infinity. How far right? Positive infinity. Range, how low is this graph going? Negative infinity. How high is this? The highest this, you guys, is right there, which is 18. Alright, so there's your guys' graph, or graphing in vertex form, sorry. Okay, number 3. We need to get vertex form from standard form, and we need to find the vertex. So, to find your guys' vertex form from standard form, we have to complete the square. So, everything's on the right-hand side, or on one side, which is fine. This has a coefficient of 1, which is good. Now, we have to half the coefficient with the x term and square it. So negative 4, half it and then square it. Negative 2 squared, which is 4. So we're going to get, I'll write this out, f of x is equal to x squared minus 4x. Now remember, once we do this, right, you add the 4 and subtract the 4. Because then we can factor this to find our perfect factor, trinomial factor, and we can combine those two. So when you factor this, right, 4 is from here, and the bottom's negative 4. What two things multiply to 4, but when added together gives you negative 4? Remind you, since we are doing this by completing the square, you should be getting the same number twice. So negative 2 times negative 2 is 4. When you add those, that's negative 4. So x minus 2 squared, negative 4 plus 12 is plus 8. So there's vertex form. And now, what is the vertex? The vertex is 2, 8. 2, 8. Okay, number 4. Everything's on one side. Good. Okay, that is not a coefficient of 1. It's 2. So that means we need to divide both sides by 2. X squared minus 4x plus 2. Now we finally have this to be a coefficient of 1. So now, right, there's the middle term, right? The x term, coefficient of the x term. So we half it, and then we square it, which is negative 2 squared, which is positive 4. So we're going to get x squared minus 4x plus this, right? And minus it. Because then we could get this into our perfect square trinomial, and then we can combine these two. Okay, so what two things multiply to 4, but when added together gives you negative 4. So you guys know it should be the same number if you did that correctly. So it's negative 2 and negative 2, right? X minus 2 squared, negative 4 plus 2 is negative 2. Now, we're almost done, but notice we need this to just be f of x only. So we gotta multiply both sides by 2. Because these will cancel. Now see this too, you guys? This gets distributed to both. So we're gonna get f of x equals. Now, someone asked me before, but that 2 does not penetrate the parentheses with the second power, because you guys know PEMDAS. Exponents is a priority before multiplication. Because of that, the 2 has to be on the outside of that parenthesis and of that power of 2. And then 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. So, vertex of this, you guys, it's 2 and negative 4. And lastly, okay, so again, everything's on one side. This needs to be a coefficient of 1. So we need to divide everything by 3. F of x over 3. Let me fix that. F of x over 3 is equal to x squared. Negative 6 divided by 3. Negative 2x. 7 divided by 3 is just the fraction. Okay, now we gotta half the coefficient of the x term and then square it. Negative 2, nope. So we half it and then we square it, which is negative 1 squared, which is 1. So, write that. Okay, so we add by this, right? And we subtract by that. Which means we need to find the factors of this, and we need to combine those. So f of x over 3. Oh, sorry, I need to write this lower. Okay, so again, right? you know you did this correctly because if you find the same number twice, then that means you've completed the square. So what is the thing where it's multiplied to itself will give you 1, but when added gives you -2? -1 and -1. So we're going to have x minus 1 squared. And then -1 plus 7/3. So, if you guys forgot, -1 over 1, right? Okay, I need to find a common denominator with this whole number, so I'm going to multiply top and bottom by 3. -3 over 3 plus 7 over 3. -3 plus 7 is 4, and it's the same common denominator. So 4/3. Now lastly, we need to get rid of that division sign, because it has to be f of x equals everything, right? So we need to multiply both sides by 3. These cancel, so we distribute this 3 to both. So f of x is going to equal to, again, the 3 cannot penetrate in that parenthesis because of PEMDAS. Exponents comes and parentheses come before multiplication, which is why it cannot distribute in there. So 3 x minus 1 squared. Okay, 3 times 4/3, you guys, the 3's cancel, right? 3's cancel, so all that leaves with is 4. Another way you could have done it is 3 times 4 is 12, right? But then 12 divided by 3 will give you 4. And vertex form of this, you guys, is 1, 4. So hopefully you guys, this helps you. Again, a quiz is coming up soon, so be prepared, okay? Peace.